from around the city, and my piece had its own little corner, like it was on an easel by itself in a little corner, and people were so surrounding it. Everyone was saying nice stuff, and it was a very, very encouraging moment to keep doing what I'm doing and to not stop.
But along with that, you was also in 2008 part of the Red City Revival when you was in college?
Yeah, so this was 2018. I was the Red City Revival. Was part of a show that was put on by the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and Coral Bello asked me and invited me to be part of that show. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've had out there in Lancaster because it was the first time I could set myself up in a gallery. And it was the gallery, the community room on King Street, that's what it was called. So the community room had a space, they had us go put up our work. And in the afternoon, which was our first Friday in Lancaster City, it's a big art event that happens in the entire city. Tons of people came out to look at the works, to look at artists that were showcasing there. And it was a beautiful experience to see people again, look at how the work has been improving. People who have been noticing and recognizing your process for years, because being at F&M, what I would do, like I would paint every day, I would draw every day, post it on my stories, everyone in the community is seeing it. So people being able to see how you develop and organize and grow your work, and then to have it in a gallery is not only empowering and fulfilling for me, but it's also inspiring for people around me to show them, look, this process is something you can take step by step, and eventually you get to somewhere where you want to be, and it feels good.
It's definitely a great form of motivation, because a lot of times people have to be shown something so they know it's possible. So like even with you, like how you said growing up in Guyana, that wasn't something that was out there.
Right.
So you was shown the opportunity, and now it's like you're paying it forward. What you're doing is showing opportunities to other artists.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to get into more of your style. How would you describe your style as an artist?
So the first thing that comes to my head is psychedelic. That's what I would just say. The psychedelic artwork, that's the vibe it gives me. But most of all, my style shows the process that comes behind it. The first thing that a person sees when they look at my work is, oh, how long did it take you to do it, right? And time has been a big focus for me earlier on. So that time is very much the box in which your process lives in. And it's shown through the detail that accompanies the piece, because it shows you that you're taking so much time to make sure all these lines are even and organized in a specific way. And that has been a very important part of it that I feel like that I latch on to and kind of want to continue doing in my style, to show that the time is there, the time has been put into it, and that process is important in what you're seeing.
And I was also talking to your manager. A lot of artists don't have managers, so I definitely give you kudos on that. That just shows how serious that you're about your work. Your manager said that your style is very personal, raw. It's more of the person to connect to it. How would you agree with that, or would you want to emphasize?
I agree with it. I agree with the idea that it's raw and very personal, because that's what I'm doing when I put myself in front of a piece of paper or a canvas. What I'm doing is expressing what I'm feeling. Kind of, if this colors have to splash and it doesn't make sense to me, that's what I'm feeling. That's what it should be. Afterwards, I can look at it, I can interpret it, I can gain the perspectives that I want to gain, and that's what makes me feel very connected to it, and make me feel like other people can be as well when they know the process that goes behind it and creating it. And Esmeralda, my manager, has been very present in seeing me create and see what that process looks like. And I feel like if anyone, she has the most accurate kind of feedback of what this process is for me, other than my own experience of it. Because when you get caught in that, and you're caught in the experience, you're not very aware of what's happening around you.
Very true.
Yeah.
You're submerged in it.
Very much.
And I know your parents are not artists, but they have a heavy influence on you. How did that come about?
Very much. So my parents don't consider themselves artists, but I would consider them artists because of the jobs that they have done that I have looked at and have influenced my work very much. My father, most of our time growing up in Guyana, he was a painter. He painted houses, buildings, tall buildings, small buildings, brightly colored buildings. I feel like that's where a lot of the sense of color comes from, because you see that very much in Guyana. The painter paints a building, people come surround their house and be like, wow, this is beautiful, this was not here a couple of days ago. So I get that kind of work ethic, that kind of control with color. I've worked with him a few times and see what that process is like, and it's been very meaningful. And that's where I take inspiration from my father. And then from my mother, she's a seamstress. She can make anything out of raw fabric. And that's something she's been doing since I know that I have sense and that I can remember things. And I respect that very much. That's actually something I want to learn next in my process of creating. I want to learn how to work with fabrics and how to make clothing, basically. So that's something that's coming up.
And what would you like to convey through your art? For like the person that's viewing your art or the person that's buying your art, what do you want to convey?
A lot of times when people look at my art and they're moving around very much, they ask me what it means, right? People ask, what does this mean? There's so much happening here, I don't get it. And then what I create, I don't put a meaning into it. I create not for meaning, but for function. So I'd say that the function of my work is to teach the values of perspective, to show you in visual language what perspective can do, how it can change what you're seeing, how it can change what you're believing about what's on the paper. And so what I'm trying to do is convey the importance of perspective, especially in decision making, and what does perspective become? What do you do with it after you've developed it? And that's where focus comes in. That's where I'm going with the series with the circle dots and bright colors to talk about the function of focus. Because after you have all your perspectives, you can be lost and confused, don't know what to do with it. Where do you focus? What matters? So that's what I'm trying to convey through my art. And in all of that the process matters very much, and time is the box that you put the process in.
And we're actually getting to the end of the interview. So if anyone's interested in your work, I know you do some custom work. Just want people to check out the sneakers. The first time I met him, he had some other custom sneakers. Every time I see him, he definitely has been putting in some work. Besides the custom sneakers, what else do you do?
So I do a lot of commissions. I take a lot of commissions, especially since COVID has started. It's difficult right now to support businesses, and I get that from people. But that's all I can do, and that's all I'm doing. So one thing that I'm doing a lot is commissioning and taking commissions. I'm selling prints. I am out in Manhattan a lot, and in Brooklyn. You might see me around Washington Square Park with some large paintings that I take out every time I go.
Nice.
I've been working on a clothing campaign for the past year or so, and it's called Chandy and the Moon. Again, it's about perspective. When you think of the moon, you think about something that's orbiting the earth, dancing around the earth. From the earth, you see different shade, you see different phases of the moon. Those are different perspectives that you get of it. You get the idea. So the name of the campaign right now and the brand is Chandy on the Moon. And what I'm doing is reconstructing clothing that would have been given away or thrown out. I do a lot of thrifting, get clothes, and make a difference with it. I would paint on it with fabric paint. I do some cool designs. I also do sneakers. These are things that I'm doing currently and that I'll be moving forward with as the time goes by. And when I start making my own clothes from raw fabric, then you'll see what's up.
And if anyone's interested in purchasing any of the pieces that you have available, if anyone's interested in buying any of your pieces, anyone's interested in getting some custom sneakers done, what's the best way to contact with you?
The best way to contact me is on Instagram at Chandy358. That is CHANDY 358. And then on there is a link to my art page where you have basically a gallery of everything I have. So reach me out there at any time for any custom pieces, for any prints, for clothing if you're interested, and I got you. Thank you.
Well, we definitely like to say once again, we appreciate you being part of the 1718 Collective. You definitely brought some heat. I just recently met you and it was definitely a pleasure. I look forward to working with you in the future, doing a lot more stuff. And I like to say to everyone, once again, thank you for tuning in to the 1718 Collective Museum. We do this every Wednesday, and it's a wrap.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My bad with that.
Good timing.
Perfect timing.